So I was discussing earlier that if any one of you has chance to take the exam once, he or she must have observed that most of the questions, mainly difficult part in the difficult section, are highly verbose. Even I have a person told me that in exam he saw a question which is having around 7 to 10 lines. Imagine in such a time constraint, you would see a very highly verbose, a question with a large statement, and a person could get frightened. But remember, doesn't matter that how much line, there is always a simple or very short take from that question, right? Okay, just remember one thing. You have 3 graph questions, 3 data interpretation questions, and usually those are time taking. So always manage your time in a way that you have around 5 to 8 minutes in total for 3 data interpretation questions. You must have at least 5 to 8 minutes for data interpretation, right? Try to solve other questions as quickly as you can. But in case if you feel difficulty in any question and that is taking time, just mark that question. You have option to mark at the top of the interface of the exam. Just take any option which you feel personally that is right, and just mark that question and move further. In case if you get time, you can revert back to that question and solve that again. But remember, due to time shortage, you won't get that much time to get back to that question. So that's why just take whatever the question you feel, option you feel right, and proceed further. The main thing is that there is no negative marking, right? So there is no harm in just taking any option and proceeding further, right?
But I heard about the penalty. They have some penalty score.
The
If
penalty
you
is based.
wrong.
Listen, there is no penalty on the choosing an option, right? Penalty is in a sense that you perform worse in first section, but perform very well in. Let's suppose there was. I have just gathered some cases in case I found that. Okay.
Below 7 marks.
If you are, there is a case that if a person perform worse in first section, I don't know example, but less than 10, that, but he got full on second section, but still the score is around 145 to 150. So thing is, you should get, if you want to score well, you should get at least 15 correct in the first section, so that you will get a difficult section in the next section, and try to get 15 plus on even that as well. And in that case,
Yes,
you can get a score of 165 or more, right? There were 3 exam cases, right, in which if this is first section and this is second section, and a person scored 17 correct in first section and 18 correct in second section, and he got a score of 166 out of 170. There was another case, person correct 14 in first and 12 in second, and he got a score of 156. I'm just giving you an example from the actual scores. And a person scored 50 in first and 16 on other, and he got 160, right? These scores are just giving you an idea that how the actual algorithm could be, but no one have till now explored, or what can I say, managed to get the actual algorithm of the scoring algorithm of the GRE, right? I missed earlier.
Yes.
I talked earlier about the experimental section. And usually there is a research section as well. There are usually 2 type of experimental section. You usually don't know what is which of the section is experimental. Let's suppose we are just saying the scenario that after the essay part, we have Q, V, Q, V, Q. First section, second, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. We have any one of from 1, 3, and 5. There could be anyone could be experimental section, right? Okay, but remember one thing, experiment section is ungraded. That could be 1, that could be 3, that could be 5, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Usually in experimental section, there is one section, if it occurs at the last, there is a section in which they test new questions. They just in this section they test usually whatever the new question they make, they set a score standard deviation of that. They test those questions in this section, and if the score of the students lie within these standard deviation, they just include those scores, those questions in the actual exam, right? But we don't know which of these could be the experimental, so solve all of these, never miss anyone. So this is just a brief
Yes.
overview. This is just a brief overview of the quantitative reasoning, right? Anyone of you have any question regarding the quantitative reasoning part? We will start.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt here. Like, will the experimental section will get added in the score? Like
No.
you said, there are special
no.
questions. Okay,
No.
okay. It's just an experimental, and it's
Yes,
like
just experimental. They will show you the first section score and second section score on the diagnostic report, but they will not
Okay.
show the experimental part. Based on the score, you can yourself judge that I performed worst in the first section, but my first section in the diagnostic report is very well. So that's why the first section which I saw, that will be experimental. This is just based on a judgment, right?
First and second section is experimental section.
Which section?
Which section? First and second section is experimental section.
No,
Then other two parts is research section.
no.
No one knows this.
No one
actually.
knows about
No,
this experimental.
yes. It's a random selecting,
Random
I
question.
guess.
This is
So
random.
what about the research section? I cannot
Listen.
understand.
I cannot understand research section.
Consider
Yes.
these both are same, but the point is, if experimental section is at large, they usually consider that a research section in which they test new question, right? Doesn't matter if
Is it
that is
obvious?
first, third, or fifth.
So I couldn't get your point.
Just leave this. I just told you that there was a recent webinar from the ETS official. They told that usually if they want to test new questions, they just take that
Yes, I have understand.
on the fifth portion, right? But leave this thing. This will make you confused. But just remember, when in an experimental section, there could be first, third, or fifth. Doesn't matter. First,
Okay.
Yes, yes.
third, or fifth.
I have understood it.
That is ungraded,
Yes.
right? And usually they do this way, that you perform very well in first section, very well in original first section, that is a medium section, and straight away the third section is experimental, and that is very easy section. And someone could get demotivated that he performed well, but still he got the very easy section afterward. He may think that he performed very worst in first, that's why he's getting the very easy question, easy section, right? So
Yes.
never get demotivated. Experimental section could be from anyone, 1, 3, or 5, doesn't matter. Just give your best and hope for the best. Okay, any other question?
Jasmine, it is just an assumption that the section, which section contains the toughest question, that means the research section. You want to say that?
Sorry, you're not audible.
Harder section or research section?
Research section. Are you?
Experimental section could be hard, could be very easy, we don't know about that.
Okay, it's an assumption.
Yeah,
Don't know
we
what.
don't know about this, about experimental section. Sometimes those are very easy, but it's a perception that experimental section is usually hard, but there is no hard and fast rule. Those could be very what can I say, very easy as well and very difficult as well. We don't know about that.
Yes, got you.
Anyone else? Okay, so this is just a brief introduction about the quantitative reasoning and what actually it has looked like and what I actually tested in this. And from tomorrow, we will proceed with the arithmetic, namely the number properties, right?
Yes.
Okay.
May I know the duration of the class?
I believe around one hour or 1 hour 15 minutes and max. Because if I increase the extent,
Okay.
all of you will be bored and there will be no takeaway from that. I've experienced that in past. So better to make this at max an hour a day.
Okay. Actually, one thing I need to ask you. I am planning to give my GRE exam in April or May beginning. So will it be okay about the course that will be until then?
It depends in which university you're applying. It is better to take this around March and April, because after that, if you're applying for fall, you have plenty of time to reach to the professors, or if you're applying for the professor scholarship or you're applying for the university, you have ample time. And in some cases,
I will apply for spring 2023.
spring 2023, you have a lot of time.
2023.
We also.
Yeah, right now March is going on, and but it is better to
Or-
just have a margin between those, because you are not sure that usually there is a lot of pressure in the exam center, and I know plenty of cases that in mock test the person is scoring around 165 plus, but in exam the person got 150, 155. So always have a margin, and because the next test you can take after 21 days, right? So there could be a worst case scenario that you don't put in the first time, and usually there's a perception that a person take 2 times the GRE exam 2 times, right? And that I'm not saying that you should do that, but I'm just giving an example, right? You're getting my point what I'm saying.
Yes.
So take this as early as you can, so that you have a lot of time for your application part and whatever you're applying, direct to university or scholarship.
I have a
So what should
question
be your, so what
about
should be your
verbal
service
part.
cost to get?
Can I improve my verbal part?
Yes. What about verbal part?
Uh, verbal part is more harder than quantitative part.
What is your
So
background?
how can I improve it? My
What is your
background
background?
is engineering.
You have engineering background?
My background is engineering.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why. Usually a person who is from engineering background has a very solid foundation in quantitative reasoning, but they are not very good in verbal. And parallel, if a person is from art, that person is usually very better in English, but likewise for the medical background. But usually a medical background have problem in both part. But for a person with art background, that person usually in the main problems of the verbal lies in reading comprehension, because I know most of you have crammed the vocabulary, right?
Yes.
You know what is meant by cramming? You just remember the words. I'm saying whatever the list you are using, right? Usually the problem is that people just cram the words. They just remember the word, but they don't know the actual usage of that word. Because the use of word lies in the context, right? They just remember the word, what is the meaning of that word. And if you are using that in text completion or sentence equivalence, wherever you are using that, if the section is very easy, that will be straightforward the answer. But if that is hard section or medium section, you
Yes.
have to understand the context of that. Then you can use
Sir,
that.
I have a question. Reading part is more hard than any other part. I think so.
Yes, this is because
How can I?
you are not used to reading. Try to read on
Okay.
regular basis.
Regularly
The
basis.
reading portions means RC
Uh,
sometimes it gives the
I have
long
more.
passage.
If anyone can speak, that will be better.
Yeah, sir, I want to say something. Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, actually, some of the RCs so long passage. So we should read the whole means we have to answer properly and from the for reading the whole passage in a short time means I have to know how to do it. I want to know the strategy from you actually.
Yes, yes, yes. Well question.
There could be multiple strategies that varies from person to person, right? This depends when you are solving the question in practice, when you are practicing, just see which strategy suits you. I know someone who is better. First, he read all of the passage, right? Then he moved to the question. Likewise, there is a person who first read the question, then move to the passage, right? If I solve, I will give you idea just while practice. It will take time at first, but when you're used to that, you will perform better, right? Let's suppose we have a passage with 3 paras, right? And first ignore the question, right? Use this while you are practicing verbal part, right? Let's suppose whatever it is you can do. You have just read the first para, right? Just make a 1-line summary of that. 1 line, at max 1.5 line summary of that, right? When you see the second para, just make a 1-line summary of that. And you want to see the third para, just make the 1-line summary of that. Once you are done with the summaries of these 3 paras, just summarize these 3 paras in 1 or 2 lines. If you start doing this way, you will try to actually you are understanding while whenever you are reading the comprehension RC part, just think that you are writing this passage. You should be able to link each of the lines which you are reading. Whatever, let's suppose the author is starting some giving some idea, afterward he's starting to enforce that idea or negate that idea. You should be able to interpret that how these lines are linked. You're getting my point?
Yes, we get, but this is the most difficult part, I think.
Yeah, I know.
I
At first,
even
listen, at first this will take a lot of time. I'm saying that this will take a lot of time, but with practice, these will increase your efficiency by double fold or triple fold, right? Try to do this way. At first, yes.
We have need reading properly. Total passage.
I'm not getting you what you are saying.
Actually, she is
Actually,
telling we have to read the whole passage
whole
totally. to
passage.
understand
Yes.
meaning. Or there is some
Listen.
strategy. I think there is. Yeah.
Better strategy is just first because it depends that if the short passage you could have 1 or 2 questions, right? But in long passage you have usually 3 to 4, even 5 questions one time. They have a case where you have 4 to 5 questions, right? At least there are 3 questions from a large passage. First, you can take greater time in because see the 2 scenarios, right? First scenario is you are taking a larger time in understanding the passage, but lesser time in solving the question because you have already understand the passage, so you can solve question quickly. The other case is you are not taking much time, you are not understanding this, but if you move to the question, you will again move back to the passage, then to the question, then move to the passage. They will take even more of your time. So in my opinion, better strategy is
Yes.
right?
Reading passage
First,
is more fast. Okay, I have understand it properly.
and start reading. There are many websites which you can use to read basically. There is which I personally prefer, that was the alldaily.com. There are usually very dense passages which come in exam, and there are similar type of passages present in this website. And use essay. There are 3 sections in this: read from, essay, and argument. Essay development, right? You can also
Yes.
use New Yorker, and you can also use New York Times, Economist, right? It will be difficult to
Atlantic.
read directly this. Yes, Atlantic. First, read some easy passage from easy magazine, which may be from your place or whatever that is. Once you are a bit familiarized with the reading, then proceed to this part, because this is a bit difficult, right? And there,
Yes.
if you directly move to this, you might not understand and you get demotivated, right? So first, just have a little bit read and then proceed to this. At least give around 40 minutes or an hour a day to the reading part, and you will see a big difference in your RC passages and also text completion and sentence equivalence. Okay, so I think this is enough for today. If anyone of you have any question, you can ask.
Thanks a lot. It was of great help.
Thanks.
Is this helpful to anyone of you?
Yes, very helpful.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I can.
Very helpful.
What
I
will
have
be
a
the
question.
timing for the coming days?
For tomorrow, this will be the same timing, but after that, we will see the timing part, right? But for tomorrow, that will be
Number
again
two,
10.
we will
At
we will see
10:30.
the number properties.
Yeah, we will start
Next
number
day.
properties. Just have overview of the integers,
Basic part.
fractions. What are integers? What are fractions? I will proceed slowly with. I will take a single topic and will try to explain most of the concepts which are associated with that topic. That might take time, but you will see the results at last. I believe that.
Yes, yes, yeah.
How
Yes.
much time will it take to complete the total preparation of our GRE exam?
Can you repeat your
How
question?
much time will it take? How much time you want to take to complete the whole syllabus of GRE? At least the basic
Quantitative.
part, all of the basic part.
I will proceed basic, and for each topic, I will first go to the basic and then move to the advanced part. Then I will proceed further. There is no point that I will go to the basic of all of the part, then proceed to the advanced part. The best strategy will be whatever the topic is, just explain the basic and explain the advanced part and do some examples or questions of that. Right?
Okay, and then how much time we need to complete this?
Basic part.
As I want to give my GRE exam at the very beginning of the May, so I have
Yeah,
so
the
much
2
time.
months will be more than enough. Hopefully, we will done by 2 months. But let's see.
Yeah,
Depend that how
will you
we
be
proceed.
covering the verbal section as well, Faisal?
At the same time, at the same time.
I can give you a strategy, but to be honest, I am not very good in explaining that. So
Okay.
still, you can, if you want any help, you can ask me. But I am very good in quant because I'm teaching that from a long time. But for verbal, it is a bit difficult for me to explain because I've never taught that. But to be honest, verbal is not that difficult. Just give your time, and still you have any confusion, you can ask, right?
So, okay. So can you
Yeah,
divide?
can you please suggest me
for
any good
verbal?
place to study verbal words, and also
The best place for verbal is ETS official guides.
Okay.
No other
Like
guide
the
can
words
give
I
the
need to
exact
go
standard
through.
of the, yes.
Yeah, the words which I need to go through, which is the best you can suggest.
It is difficult to say.
Okay.
You can
But in
use
your opinion,
Scholarton has
which one
very
is the
good.
best?
Listen, Scholarton has very
Scholarton?
good verbal words, and you must have also have the list of the Magoosh. And if you go through most of these, you will cover most of the part of the words. But remember one thing: don't just cram the words. Always have an idea of the connotation, what the word is actually saying, because actually in the sentence equivalence part, you will see options almost with same meaning, but connotation is different. I mean, some word is very intense, some word is not that much intense, some are in moderate. So whenever you are remembering the word, see all of the synonyms and try to have idea of the what the actually word is, what is intensity of that word. If you proceed with that way, surely you will get a great score in verbal.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
again, I think you missed the question, like which is a good place, at least like rough idea, like Magoosh or whatever. Can you please?
For what?
Again, words, like memorizing the words or learning words.
There is
That is
a
the most difficult,
listen. There is
difficult
the
question.
there is a high overlap between the Magoosh and Scholarton words. Just go through these two words, Magoosh and Scholarton. I believe you won't need any other. Now Zoom is saying
Okay.
that we
Okay.
have removed 40-minute access for today's session. Wow. Okay.
For the facility, you will
No questions for
not
now.
give you the. Thank you for your cordial suggestions and very valuable suggestions. I think that will be very helpful for us.
The recordings
Again,
in the group, then we can go
I
through
will
it.
Faizan, you are from Pakistan, right?
yes.
Thanks for all the help, your friend from India. Yeah.
Yes, we are from. I am from Bangladesh, and from Bangladeshi people, I want to thank you very much. It will
Thanks
be
a lot.
helpful
I'm
for us.
from
Thank you
India.
very much.
Raman,
Your class is
thank you
very
so
well,
much.
and I have learned many things
This is
from this.
Ridwan from
Thank you so
Nigeria.
much.
So grateful to you also.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And any one of you, if any one of you have any confusion or anything, you can ask me personally as well. And hopefully I will answer
Through
Thank you
that.
so
WhatsApp.
much.
Right?
Thank you
I
so
ask
much, Raman. Thank you.
Right? Perfect then.
Yeah, it's a great initiative from you. So
See you tomorrow.
thanks
This
for
class was very
help.
helpful.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks.
so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay, good
Please
night.
give a
Thank you
review
so
in
much.
the group as well.
Thank you so
So,
much.
right. And hopefully see you in the morning tomorrow. And I will
Would you please,
because someone
would you
asked
please
me that it
upload
is
the video
difficult.
in the
Listen,
group?
yes. Someone has asked me that it's
Start
because
from the
listen.
This group.
Somebody asked me that at first I uploaded the old sessions which I did some time earlier. I uploaded on the Google Drive, but as the length is large, they had to download that and then use that. Now I'm thinking that I will just making a YouTube and channel. I will just add all of the session there, so that will be easily
that's a
to
better.
access.
That's a better.
Right?
That will be a great platform.
These
which we
session
all
you
can
can
see.
just give the recording links